Hey guys, welcome everybody to 𝒂𝒓�👏, episode number 4 in English. Thank you for the stories you guys have sent, and thank you for all the ones that you guys have been sending, will be sending. I just want to say thank you for the attention and support, and I'm sorry that I was another day late. Starting next week, it will be Wednesday for Spanish and Thursday for English. I switched it up because the other dates weren't working for me. It felt like a little rush, and I don't want to do anything rush. I want to leave everything genuine, just how it is. So that's why I changed it, but I don't think there will be more changes. Hopefully not. And I'm gonna try my best to be on time. Sorry guys, I'm new at this, so I'm trying really hard to be consistent. Alright, so the episode of today is gonna be called Controversial Blessings. They're very controversial. I was having a little bit of trouble doing this one because it's a bit too controversial even for me. So good luck guys. These stories are kind of harsh. I'm not gonna lie. Alright, so the first one is titled Finding the Family I Hoped and Wished to Have. It's from Anonymous. All of them are anonymous. It says, I have a twin brother. We are from a town in Michoacan, Mexico. Our family was poor, but somehow my mom always managed to eat well, dress pretty, without working and while being a stay-home mom. Meanwhile, me and my brother were always hungry because she would only feed us plain corn tortillas, sometimes with salt, sometimes with butter, but mostly plain, dipped in water. Just like the food some people used to give dogs, or even worse than that, because some of them would just put some soup in there. She would often be yelling at us about how much we have ruined her life by having us. She would hate us for no reason and just be mad for whatever we did or didn't do. Me, being the little kid I was, I never understood why she would mistreat us like that, because I used to observe my little neighbors with their nurturing moms all the time, and then also being nurturing towards us without looking for nothing in return. So it was even harder for me to understand how the mom of the neighbors could be so nice and loving, but not our own. I would go to where the street vendors will be, and at the main gas station of the town, to talk to the truck drivers that will make their stop there and I would just talk to them to know about the country and the life and the different types of everything that there is outside. To the vendors, I will offer to help in exchange for food. They will let me help with a customer or two, and they will invite me to have lunch with them, and I will bring some to my brother. I had already escaped once before, but only to the neighboring town. So the rumors spread and my mom found out where I was and went to pick me up. She told me, don't you ever forget you belong with me and your brother. One day, talking to a truck driver, he told me how he's been driving around the country and how he's been driven for 2 days just to get to the gas station, and how he's about to also start driving 2 more days to get to his last delivery, and that was near his house, which was his last stop. Me, being a mistreated child, just looking for escape, just thought in that moment, this is it. This is my escape. I waited a little while for him to be distracted or to go buy his snacks for the drive ahead to sneak inside his truck. I went to hide and move the least possible. Whenever he will make a stop for the restroom or to eat, that's when I will go and use the restroom myself as fast as I could and sneak back in. When we were to arrive at the delivery place, I moved a little, but I touched something and it made a noise. He heard the noise, so he started looking to find out what caused it. When he saw me under the bed, his eyes opened wide and started yelling, "What are you doing here? Who are you? How did you even got here? Oh no, what am I gonna do? How am I going to take you back? Where are you from? What am I going to do? Where do I even have to take you back? Oh no, what am I going to do?" I told him I was from another state, so he wouldn't send me back to my mom. He asked if I had family, but I also lied about that. And I told him my only family was an aunt, but that she mistreated me very badly and hit me very harshly. To please not send me back, I pleaded. With frustration, he just told me, "Kid, waiting here. I need to talk to my wife. I have no idea what to do." He got inside on one of those telephone booths that were in the streets back in the day, since cellulars didn't exist, and called his wife. He told her, "Woman, a kid got in my truck. I'm freaking out. I don't know where to send him. I don't even know where he's from. I have a very bad feeling about this. He says he only has one family, and it's a nut that treats him pretty bad. Do I leave him in the street? I don't even know where he got on my truck. I don't even know what to do." The wife told him, "No, are you crazy? How are you gonna leaving a child in the street? Bring him home, and we'll figure it out. We'll figure out what to do once you both have come down." We got home, we ate, and right after, she started giving me a bath with my underwear on. She thought I was dark skinned, only to find out I was a blondie, a white kid that was just covered in filth. While she was giving me the bath, she asked me, "My little boy, nobody showered you, huh? Look at all these. You even have dry blood that I'm having trouble to wash away." I told her that I was only given a bucket of cold water and a piece of soap, so I would just throw the cold water on me to do it faster. I could see in her eyes how sad that made her. She just kept on washing me and seeing all of my scars without saying a word. 2 weeks passed by, and since I was such a good kid, listened to them, and behaved well, plus I could maintain conversations with them, they decided to adopt me. Before, doing all of this paperwork and process in Mexico was very easy, so they just went to report my existence, and once the documents were official, they also proceeded to baptize me on the day that I was officially adopted. Years passed by, and when it was time for me to go to university, they asked me what I wanted to study, since they could afford to give me studies. And I always said, I want to be a truck driver, just like that. I want to travel through the Mexican Republic and get paid by it, so I did. One time, I confessed to them about the truth and explained to them how I had to leave my twin behind because he wouldn't dare to run away with me. He was so afraid of our mom and all the things that she would do to us. When I was about to explain to them all of the things she used to do to us, my adopted mom stopped me and said, "Don't worry, my child. I still remember all of the scars you came with, how you had wounds that wouldn't close because of all the dirt you had in between. Your skin was so rough. I thought you were dark skinned and with dark hair because you had layers and layers of dirt on you. You don't have to explain anymore. We remember how destroyed you got here. You don't need to relive it, my child." I do think of my brother from time to time, and I truly hope he had found happiness and love in his life. Sometimes happy endings need us to sacrifice things, and for mine, I had to live knowing I left my brother behind. That was my sacrifice. My adopted parents gave me so much love and nurture. Once they got into my life, I never lacked anything anymore, and my prayers were answered by having to meet them. I was desperate to escape, and instead, I found a family. With the years, they also told me how much of a blessing I was. It was that I walked into their lives. They couldn't have any kids, but I was like a gift sent from heaven to them. I ended up moving to Tijuana with my wife, and we built our family and lived there. Having the life I had is the only peace of mind I get from leaving. Thanks God and life, they united my parents and us in an act of desperation. how we bless each other constantly, and all the love I always beg God to have and encounter. I wouldn't have become the person I am now with my many blessings if I didn't have them in my life. They will forever be my true parents, and I will forever be grateful to have found them. It is a blessing to have encountered unconditional love from my parents, my wife, and my beautiful family. I have the pleasure to nurture and protect each and every day of my life. I think it's very pretty how he still managed to overcome what he came from in a way, because he was able to give the nurture that he never received, but he always wanted to get. Well, he did receive it, but what he lacked in the very beginning. And that's important because I feel like the first 5 years of life is what determines how you're gonna be. So it's surprising how he overcame that. It's not easy, not everybody does it. Not everybody is successful at it. Story number 2. Its title: Who are we to deny favors in desperate times to good people? This one is a heavy one for me. Anonymous. Everything started when one day my wife, family, and I were having breakfast together at a restaurant in Tijuana, when suddenly an American interrupted us. Back in the day, it was kind of hard when people came. It was kind of hard when people came to see you. When people came to you so out of nowhere. It was weird. It wasn't so. It wasn't like today. To which my wife responded very kindly. Sorry, out of nowhere. She came out of nowhere, the lady. She introduced herself to us and continued to ask if all of the kids were us. To which my wife responded very kindly, "Yes, my man is so good at making babies. I had to get the surgery done being young. Otherwise, instead of 5 kids, we'll be 10 by now." Ha ha ha. The lady asked again if the kids were smart. To which my wife also said, "Yeah, they take over my husband. The kids are even smarter than him. They have all A's in school." The lady then said, "I'll buy off 2 of your kids. My husband and I are very well positioned professionally and can pay you guys a lot of money, and we will still let you see your kids." To which my wife responded, "Look, my kids, I won't sell you, but I need to know why are you looking to buy kids from strangers?" So then she asked the waiter to bring another chair for the lady to sit with us. The waiter brought it, and the lady sat down and began with her story. Turns out, her and her husband have tried multiple ways to get pregnant because it's the biggest desire of her husband to be a dad and pass his last name, to have an inheritance after his name. But all of their multiple tries failed each time. She continues saying how they even tried adopting children through multiple agencies in different countries, but each time the paperwork also got rejected. It appears as if they had closed doors about having kids, and she couldn't see her husband getting more desperate and depressed each month. How his light was getting dim because his dream couldn't become true, while she was crying and sobbing. My wife, being the very humble, loving, and very simple person that she is, started telling her, "Well, only you, my husband. He's very good at making kids, so might as well." I shook on my foot. I almost spit my foot all over the place. The lady, with surprised and embarrassed look, responded, No. I don't need to do that. We will buy your kids. I wouldn't dare to ask that from you guys. We can buy them. I promise you." My wife then asked, "Why do you want to buy our kids?" The lady said, "Because our husbands look alike, and it will be a dream if they look like my husband. Your husband and mine are both blonde, tall, green-eyed looking guys. They look alike." My wife then insisted on the same thing. So I asked the lady to excuse us for a moment and took my wife to a corner, saying to her, "Are you okay? Did you lose a screw in your head? Will you be okay with something like that? Because I'm not. I only love you. I don't want nothing else." To which my wife answered me, "Look, I'm feeling okay. You're so good at making kids. I even got pregnant when we used birth control. If we can change their life, who are we to not do it? It won't cost us anything, and we can change their life. We need to help them. We can see she clearly loves her husband." And I, refusing to accept the idea, I couldn't stop but to put myself in their shoes. I just couldn't imagine my life without my kids. We wouldn't be who we are without our family. So I said, okay. The lady is still in awe of the controversial deal my wife had just proposed, told us she needed to consult with her husband. We exchanged phone numbers, home of course, because mobile phones didn't exist back then. After a week went by, they called us by saying they both agreed. They came home, and before I got into the room, I asked my wife again, "Are you sure you want me to do this? Are you okay with this?" She said, "Of course, let's help them." This lady is so secure. I could never. This story is just so controversial, man. I could never, but respect, man, because she had to really trust her husband first, and then she really had to be secure within herself. Wow. 2 weeks passed by, and they called us with good news. They were pregnant. Months passed, and it turned out they were twins. 2 for the price of 1, even better for me. To honor us, they decided to tell the truth to their kids, and we'll hang out. We all hang out, so we would all know the extended family. We never accepted money from them, so they will always fill our house with food, furniture, anything they could think of giving us. Our kids grew up. Some became lawyers, some became lawyers, others doctors, others took some other professional private sections, which we cannot say, but we were all very blessed. We never lacked anything. They had the family they always desired, and ironically enough, the kids looked just like their husband. How ironic. There was always outstanding respect between us, and we all became friends for life. After we didn't need anything, apparently, and the kids were out of the house, they still try to gift us things, but we will always tell them we didn't need nothing anymore, because our kids will even gift us things. But instead, they started gifting us trips every year to express their gratitude for such a controversial favor we did for them. I'm just glad all of this turned out to be a blessing, to still have good things to happen with such actions that can be so controversial. We were all blessed by constant acts of goodness. It's very controversial, but I'm glad it all turned out for good. And I'm also glad that all of the kids turned out to have good professions. It's clearly they all raised them with good morals, despite the circumstances. It's crazy. This story is just mind-blowing to me. I just can't even grasp. I can't even say much about it. Man. Oof. Number 3. Playing the game with the narcissist without even realizing it. Anonymous. Almost 30 years ago, I was with my ex-husband. We were married at the time. And I started noticing a pattern he'd started to act on whenever we'll be at the mall shopping or at the market getting groceries. He would try to humiliate me in front of people. The only explanation I have for his actions is that his machismo, macho mentality, and his narcissism were what made him act this way. And it was only whenever there was people around he would start saying between these lanes, "Woman, are you dumb? Why are you dumb? I'll tell you not to get that one, but this one. Ugh, woman. Ugh, woman. You never listen. Why can't you do it for once?" Hell nah. He'll narrate his own stories in his mind and act them out at the markets out of nowhere. I would just be like, what is this guy even talking about? He would narrate one day out of nowhere. I don't even know how it all happened, other than I was just overwhelmed by him acting out this way, and I completely got frustrated, and I just decided to do something about it. Since I had the keys and the money in my purse with me, I went towards the guard at the market to explain to him how this guy, my husband, was harassing me. While my husband was yelling to me from afar, the guy, surprised, asked, "Oh, you guys are not together?" Without letting me answer, my ex responded, "She's a crazy woman. Don't believe her. She's my wife. She's just trying to be funny." Guard just looked at us and replied, Guard just looked at us and I replied, "I've never seen this man in my entire life. I don't know who he is or why he's yelling at me. Please do something. He saw me in an aisle and started yelling at me out of nowhere. Please take him out." My ex said, "I know. Are you going to believe this woman instead of me? She's lying. Her name is Esperanza. She's my wife. She's lying. Don't be ridiculous. Finish this show and let's get the groceries, woman." I told the guard again, "I don't even know him. My name is not Esperanza, it's Maria." And when they were talking, and while he was taking my ex out of the store, he was yelling, "Her name is Esperanza Maria. Oh no, woman, don't believe her. She's lying." I just thanked the guard by saying, "Oh, thank you so much. He was starting to scare me." I finished doing, sorry, it's just funny. I finished doing the groceries and headed out to the car in the parking lot. I just saw him standing next to the car with a very frustrated face. He didn't say nothing, but I did. I told him, "You ever try doing this again? I will do this again time after time after time until you learn not to do it anymore, okay?" He didn't say anything. We were married for 10 more years, but he never did anything like that in public again. Now, the knowledge is so accessible, I've discovered he was truly a narcissist, and I accidentally won a game against one without even knowing. Being with a narcissistic person, man, is so detrimental, and it's so hard, and it's just something that it's really hard to overcome because they're so manipulative and they're so sneaky, and they'll do things like this all the time. I'm sure he did other things in public, but not so obvious anymore because he knew that she wouldn't do that. Honestly, congrats, woman. Congrats. It is very hard winning against a narcissist. You can do it, but most of the times they'll just try to leave you empty, internally and materialistically, like even with material stuff. Yeah, I don't wish narcissistic abuse on anybody, to be honest, or anybody to be around a narcissistic person. Congrats. It's hard to do that. When life separates you from where you could never find happiness. Anonymous. Hi. Around 20 years ago, I was in a very committed relationship with this guy that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. My biggest dream and desire in my life was to become my mom. We have tried multiple ways, but failed at them. Nothing worked. I was born in the States, but I was living in Mexico with my partner. When I had gotten to the very end of the tunnel, we opted to do artificial insemination instead, since it was our last option in the list. But since I wanted the money fast, and in Mexico I wouldn't get it, I decided to move to the States to raise the money even faster, since they pay more in the low-income jobs than the careers in Mexico back in the day. I just wanted to raise the money as soon as possible so I can start my family with my person. I was desperate for this to happen. While I was in the States, working 12 to 14 hours a day, I was staying at my sister's and my brother-in-law's place. A cousin of his was also staying there and working just like me. This cousin's nickname was Chuyito because he was the youngest of us, the adults, in the house. When I would come so tired from covering for my coworkers and voluntarily working overtime, he would offer to give me a massage on my feet, but I would usually say no, thank you. One day, I came home super tired and overwhelmed that I agreed, and he gave me the foot massage. Between massages and months passing by, things escalated a little. One day, I woke up very sick. So I asked my sister to please bring me medicine because I couldn't deal with myself. She looked at me and analyzed me and then started laughing by saying, "Ha ha ha ha, you're pregnant, don't play stupid. Chuyito made you a kid with those massages, huh? Ha 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 ha." And I said, "Don't be an idiot. That's impossible, I can't be pregnant." She brought me some medicine and pregnancy test. And yep, turns out I truly was pregnant. And with my heart in pain, I called my partner, ashamed, to give him the bad news and explain how things happened. Well, I couldn't stop crying. He didn't even flinch. He seemed unbothered by this, which it made me very suspicious, and it clicked in my head. I asked him, "You can't have any kids, huh? You're sterile. And you knew this, huh?" And he responded, "Yeah, all this time I've been knowing I can have kids, but I didn't want you to know because I also don't care about having any. But I also enjoyed the relationship so much, so I just couldn't tell you." To which, sadly, with a broken heart, I just responded, "Well, I guess this is where we both go our separate ways." I couldn't believe how I wasted all of my youth with this selfish man. How could he not see how frustrated, defeated, depressed made me feel, the fact that I wasn't able to become pregnant, just to find out he was the one responsible for it. And all this time he knew but never told me. My mind was in awe of how selfish he was. He was willing to see me sad my entire life just so he could be comfortable. Then I thought, why didn't he offer to do the overtime instead of me? Selfishness. In between other things that start to make sense once you're out of manipulative relationships. Little by little, things were coming to light. Yeah, that's true. I like you. Chuyito, when he found out I was pregnant, he said to me, "I like you. You're a good woman. You are so pretty. Give me a chance and you'll never regret it." I did, and I did not regret it. He proposed to me a year later. We got married after 2. We lived happily ever since, and I was able to fulfill my dream, which was to become a mother even at 40 years old. Sometimes, we cling so hard for a life that isn't meant for us, to people that were only part of the journey but never the destination. And sometimes, life, God, makes very controversial things to happen so we can be redirected into what we're meant to be and have. If things wouldn't have happened this way, I know I wouldn't have been able to let go of the idealization I had of my ex, and I would have never reached the full potential my life had. That is very true. Sometimes I feel like sometimes we act on things that we normally wouldn't do, but I think it's like our soul trying to liberate us from what we're denying ourselves to face that we're living on. I'm sure she had like some ideas of this, but I guess her wanting to protect her partner wouldn't accept it. We need to learn how to let go of things when they no longer serve us, and not in the way that like, oh, we can't have any use of this. No, simply just because if it's not making us grow, it's not serving us. And that can mean people too. Sometimes people can have you stuck. Sometimes relationships make you down there, and I think that's a problem too. I think usually when people are manipulated in relationships, just like this and the other person, I think like the mind shrinks because, well, it is like the mind shrinks, like if the mind goes through some, you suffer psychologically. It honestly is like psychological abuse. My heart goes to the people. I hope that if you're in a relationship like that, please just run. Go away, let it go. Something better. Echojito is waiting just for you. It's fighting for you. That Echojito was like, I'm gonna take my chances and do those massages. I know I'll conquer her one day or one way or another. Which it wasn't good either, but again, these stories are very controversial. I was having a hard time to put them together because it's very controversial. Even for me, I was like, the whole time. But everything turned out good. Sometimes God is so good and full of grace that even when we mess up, he's just like, my child, let me bless you. Anyways. This was a hard episode for me. Not even for you guys, it was hard for me. Okay, the last story, it's titled, The Importance of Having Parents That Pray for Your Well-Being. And it's anonymous. Synonym, I'm just kidding. Anonymous. Hi, everything started around 20 years ago, give it or take. When I was a little girl, my parents and I went to Lowe's, and we were around the construction aisle when suddenly some type of fiber, we never figured out what kind, got into my eye, and I started scratching it very harshly without stopping because it wouldn't stop itching. Then I proceeded to do my other eye with the same hand, and somehow they both were itching. My parents tried seeing what I had inside, but they couldn't figure it out. It was already late, so they just prayed for me to not be in pain and decided to wait until the next morning to take me to the hospital. By the morning, my eyes were completely swollen and they couldn't be open. That's how badly swollen they both were. We went to the hospital, and there they recommended us to the specialist in ophthalmology. When we got there, everybody and their mother were so surprised I wasn't even crying, due that my cornea was ripped in half, so deep in one of my eyes, and the doctor cared to explain that usually when grown men have this kind of injuries, they'll be crying in agony and yelling if they had a slight cut in their cornea. She then proceeded by telling my dad, your daughter has a cornea 2 damage in her left eye, and if we try to fix it, will more likely do more damage. I highly recommend a prosthetic eye at this point. Her right eye is okay, it will recover from the irritation. To which my dad replied to her, we'll see. Our God is a God of miracles. And she said, it's too late for a miracle. Tum, 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 tum. My dad just smiled towards her incredulity and continued leaving the clinic. I can imagine the dad being like, I'll show you. I love this. Okay. And my dad just smiled towards her incredulity and continued leaving the clinic. My parents were praying all night, that as much as I remember. And when it was time for the next appointment again, everybody couldn't believe I had no track of such injury or irritation in my eyes, as if nothing ever even happened. The doctor would check my eyes, then the paperwork, then the studies, then my eyes, and again in disbelief that this was actually happening. She had hit a wall of her faith in atheism, I guess, and non-disbelief about miracles. And she said, she then said, not wanting to admit she believed this possible. She said, I'm an atheist. I see this, but I refuse to accept it happened. This is impossible. To which my dad just said again, our God is a God of miracles. Dad was like, oh, try me, try my God. Sorry, I really like this. Today, I'm in my late 20s, and I've learned to always pray for whatever difficulty we may face in life first. Intercede for when sickness comes our way, and for our kids to just how my parents did for me so many times. In my opinion, there isn't a better inheritance to leave than teaching your kids how to have a genuine relationship with God. Walk with Him and face every problem with a prayer. Now, I give all honor and glory to God by saying that ever since then, my eyesight has been 20/20. I really like these stories. They make me very happy. It also, this story really reminded, honestly, yeah, I have nothing else to add. Like, there's nothing better that we can give to our children than teaching them how to have a genuine relationship with God. Not even for them to go to church or to whatever, just to have a genuine relationship with God and to read the Bible. I think it's the best inheritance we can give. And money too, but first this is more important. Yeah, it reminded me to John 8:36, verse 36. And it says on the KJV, if the Son therefore shall make you free, ye shall be free indeed. And on the New International Version says, if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. I love it. Okay, anyways, guys, thank you so much for your time and the attention. Also, please send the email, send your stories to my email. Follow me on Instagram. I'm gonna put the links right in the description, like I usually do. And thank you for everything. I hope you guys have a beautiful and lovely weekend. Thank you so much. Bendiciones, blessings.